Hello, my name is Katie Vander, and I am teaching a session of CO235, which is Advanced Windows Server. Now this year we are transitioning to preparing students for the Windows Server 2012 Release 2 certification, but I wanted to take a few minutes and talk about all of Microsoft's certifications and exactly what we can achieve through this course. So I'm going to start with some websites that are all available in Blackboard. The first one that we're going to look at is just Microsoft's which certification is right for you. And I will have a link in our certification module, in our learning module for all of these websites so you can reference them. But the first one here, we talk about where to start with Microsoft certifications. There are, I don't know, a ton, 100 maybe or so different Microsoft certifications and things that will lead you to be an expert in one field or another. Microsoft, as you know, does many different things. So what we're going to focus on is server path, a server certification path, and then we have different options from there. So if you want to deal with database, you could follow the SQL server path, or if you wanted to be more of a Office solution expert, you could follow these paths. But we're in Windows Server course, so we're going to follow one of these paths. Now, to begin with, the MTA is for basic fundamentals of IT, not necessarily related to Microsoft, but a Microsoft certification. So we are, that's something that is probably pretty easy for most people to achieve, but it's not a requirement to move on to one of these other levels down here. So what we have are our MCSA, which is Microsoft Certified Solution Associate. And we also, that leads us into an MCSE, which is a Microsoft Certified Solutions Expert. The phrases MCSA and MCSE have been around for a long time with Microsoft certifications, but they used to be called, the acronym used to stand for Microsoft Certifications System Administrator and System Engineer, I think. But now they've changed it to Solutions Associate and Solutions Expert. So it kind of is more broad in the name. And of course, Microsoft has to change so much. Everything, which is why we have many releases. Which brings us to the next path. So the MCSA, what we're going to focus on is the Windows Server 2012 edition and the R2, which is release 2. And our book covers this, and all of the tests will be R2 based. Now, Windows Server 2008, we have been teaching that in the past, and that certification was retired in January, so there's no sense going down that path. Now from this server, this path right here, it takes us to the MCSA solutions. Now that this is the same thing, I guess, so we don't really need that website. Boop, boop. Now I'm just confusing you. Ignore them. Ignore those. Okay, so we'll look at the, what we're looking at is the 70-410 exam for the MCSA. Now, let me go back to that first page I was on because it's important to understand how Microsoft certifications lead. To become an MCSA, you actually need to take 3 tests. There's the 410, 411, and 412. Now, given that we are a 2-credit class, which is only 2 hours a week, 2 to 4 hours a week for a semester, we have limited amount of time. So with one course, we can only cover the objectives for 410, the exam 410. Now once you get one certification under your belt and you want to go on with your education, I think it'll be easier to do some self-certifications or self-prep, or you can look at other places that offer classes. Maybe when you go on to your bachelor's degree, beyond the 2-year college, you'll have those universities that offer training for the 411 and 412. But this is one exam for the MCSA. And it's a great start, but it's not the entire, you need to take all three, so it's not the entire certification. Now from the MCSA, you go on to MCSE, again, if you choose. And the book talks about, just at the beginning where it talks about the introduction, it's on Roman numeral, what is X? 10, so Roman numeral 12. Yeah, XII. Roman numerals. Um, no, yeah, V is 5. Anyway, so you have the MCSE, which the book talks about having three main options, but when you look at the website, there are actually 6 or 7 options. This one shows 6. There's one additional one called business information. But what we would follow, or what I would suggest you follow if you continue on to server engineering or solutions expert, then I would suggest that you follow the path of a server infrastructure and not the desktop infrastructure. Or depending on what you choose to learn, you may want to go into cloud management or SharePoint, which is for web designing. Or messaging expert. So what I would personally do is follow this server path. But in the beginning of the chapter, it talks about the first 3, server, desktop, and private cloud. So let's go over to that website. That's if you want to go on to an MCSE, which is 5, by the way, 5 tests that you would have to pass. So that's not the website I want. Oh, actually, I want to talk about, I want to go back to the certification overview. When you're talking, when you scroll down on this page, which I'll reference in Blackboard, right under the video link that you're listening to, the frequently asked questions has some really good answers to questions you might be thinking, like, what am I gaining? Do they expire? And all Microsoft certifications do expire. There's usually just a one test that you have to take to recertify yourself. But which certification should I start with? This talks about if you have no prior experience with computers, that you might want to start with an MTA. But if you have some technology experience already, and I assume you do at a 200 level course, that you should start with the MCSA or the MCSD. So we're going to start with the MCSA. Now if you have some extra money around and you want to just take the MTA, I would suggest you do a quick self-study, look for some resources online for free, and do that so you have something to put on your resume. But where we're starting is with the MCSA. So going back, when we look at the MCSA certification website, again, I'll share that, we have different options, but some of them are expired. 2008 is expired. SQL Server 2008, but some are not for network engineering. This is for Office, maintaining Office and cloud experience, and what we're looking at is the Windows Server 2012. So when you go into that, you'll have a list of the 3 exams that you need to take. I'll just shoot over to the page I already have open. That's our 410 exam. There we go, it opened up. So here's the Windows Server 2012, the R2 Solution Associate, the required test that you need to take. So a few minutes ago I said there were 3: installing and configuring Windows Server 2012. That's what this course is. The blue means these are required. You also have to take 411 and 412. And again, you know, depending on where you transfer to or if you go on with your education, 410 is a great stepping stone, but you'll want to do these other exams to complete your MCSA. So here is, I'll share that link, but here is information on what you'll learn in the course or what you'll gain from the certification. The cost is $150 and you take it through a certified testing center with Prometric. Now, GRCC is not a certified testing center, so you have to go to Prometric's website and right here, prometric.com, and schedule your test or locate a testing center here. However, I do know that Davenport is a Prometric testing center, and I'm on Davenport's website. I'll share this link with you as well. Davenport's testing center on the Lettinga campus at M6 and the Beltline area, they offer a discount to GRCC students. So it might be, I think it's a 10 or 15% discount. So when you look at this $150 cost for this one exam, it can be a little cheaper if you either get some coupon codes or go through Davenport's testing center and show your student ID. Or maybe you're already working somewhere or interning somewhere and they might pay for it. That's something that a lot of employers do to keep their employees educated in the field. So we're looking at this specific test. These are the skills that are measured, and you'll note that as of January of this year, it covers all R2 information, release 2. So this information that we are learning should be valid for, well, at least 3 years, and should be the most popularly used Windows server because it is the most current. So usually every few years or so they'll do an upgrade, maybe every 3 or 4 years. So you should be good for a while. But these are the topics that we'll cover in the course, and this is the percentage that each test covers. So when we look at the first part of the chapter on installing and configuring the servers, you'll learn approximately 15 to 20% of the exam. And this just gives you more details. This is some other important information for certification. If you want to look at some other resources, which I do recommend. But one thing that I want to talk about, one thing I want to talk about with this course real quick before I stop yapping is that we cover all of the objectives with this textbook. We cover everything, and we're going to use two major hands-on methods. Even though you may be in an online course, we're going to use both lab connections, which you've watched, or you'll watch a video on how to use that, which gives you some hands-on experience and questions, and I do grade with the challenge mode of those. So we have lab connections for hands-on measurement of what you've learned and practice. And then we're also going to do some of the activities that are in each chapter. And we're going to do that using a virtual system. So we're going to use virtual player to a VMware player, virtual player, to run some of these activities so you can actually run them on your computer at home. Now, there are virtual systems that are available at the college if you come down, although this class is also built for all online. So if if you're taking it online, you'll need access to a computer. Also in this textbook, you do have a copy of the R2 data center edition of the Windows Server. You can open that and use that, or through, I got some parts of our class open, but through our textbook and software link, and I have to add more to it at this right now, but we also have access to DreamSpark, and DreamSpark is a path for you to get free Microsoft software. And this includes operating systems and network operating systems, and Windows Server is a network operating system. So I do encourage you to not only use the trial edition of the book for this course, which only lasts 120 days. It's at the back of the book. You can also go onto DreamSpark and download Windows Server 2012 Data Center. There's all the editions out there. Now you'll get an email the first week of class. You'll get an email to your student account that'll tell you how to log in. So when you're in Blackboard, check your email the first week, and this is available to all CIS students. But a major benefit. All right, I hope you have a better understanding of what we're doing in this course and how the Microsoft certification works. I look forward to the start of the course and making some good videos where we can learn together how to administer Windows Server. Have a great day.